of research is how to prevent heart disease. And so therefore I work with organizations like the National Lipid Association, some other associations. I've written two books in cardiology called Clinical Questions in Cardiology. It's published by McGraw-Hill. And then Up to Date is the largest subscription model for doctors, and I'm an author for Up to Date. When you become a physician, sometimes you get into areas that you become a key opinion leader. And one of the key opinion leaderships roles are in pharma. So these are all the different pharmaceutical companies that and this is almost kind of a disclosure slide as well. But these all range from dyslipidemia to hypertension to novel aspirin utilization. Oh, some reason this is not coming through, but yeah, some reason this slide is blank. I don't know why, but 12 years of experience in digital health. And usually there's a bunch of things here. I'm not sure why they didn't come up, but one of the companies I was the medical correspondent for was Fitbit, and have been on, I've taken two companies public on the NASDAQ, so got to ring the bell. And they all have to deal with digital health experience. And in media, over about 110 local national TV and radio appearances. Again, not sure why this is not popping up on your screen, but let me go back and see if it will pop up here. It's popping up on my screen. Is it popping up on your screen, or you got a blank screen here?
We see a blank screen, but I'm
Okay,
not sure
that's
why.
fine. I'll just jump through. And then, yeah, for some reason those were, and I'll just jump straight to my journey. Okay, but part of the background I was just going to tell you. So I've been involved in about 12 startups. Many of those startups have been part of the American Heart Association's venture arm. Probably one of them, I'll tell you a little bit about. I'll give you my background and tell you some of the stories about some of the areas of passion that I have and been able to work through. So, educational, went to Second Baptist, went to Trinity, did my medical school residency and fellowship all at UT McGovern. And I'm really passionate about heart health and advancing that through research, AI, and really big on inclusivity in clinical trials. And I think we can touch a little bit about that. So I wish this was a little bit more interactive, because usually I do this in big forums and try to be a little bit more interactive. But I think one of the challenges in when you're looking at research is this word inclusivity. So you need to look at inclusion and exclusion criteria. Unfortunately, in many studies, most participants are generally white males around 65, if you just look at average studies being done. But when I'm looking just at this form of the number of people on this call, I see a diverse group of different ethnicities, genders, races. And so you want to make sure when we talk about research that we understand who our inclusion exclusion criteria is and try to be as broad in the number of people that are reflected in the study. So I'll just give you an example of who are underrepresented in studies: females, minorities. We use Fitzpatrick scale, which is different skin tones that goes from 1 to 6. So that's light skin to dark skin, and typically darker skin are not included in clinical research, and there's a whole reasons around that we can get to maybe on another time. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey, and hopefully this will create some inspiration here. So I was very fortunate to grow up with two parents as physicians, never took it for granted. I worked every Christmas, every summer. I was in EMT. I worked in emergency rooms. Back then, it wasn't as regulated as it's now. So I used to sew up, people's wounds. I used to deal with individuals where I had to pump their stomachs and put charcoal down. So I was very fortunate since 16 years old that I've been involved in medicine, in actually the practice of medicine as an EMT and working in an emergency room. But prior to that, I was very fortunate when I was growing up. Hopefully, you know the names, Denton Cooley and um, and DeBoggy. So DeBakey, it's really DeBoggy, but Dr. DeBakey. So these were the first two heart doctors who did the first heart transplants in the world. I happen to have Denton Cooley as person that I grew up under, and he really inspired me that, when things are challenging and hard, that's when we create the greatest growth. They didn't do things that were easy. They did things that were moonshot, and they were very successful in how they did it. And the reason they did it is because they believed in processes. So I don't ever like give a pat on the back when a student of mine makes an A or a B. It's not about it is, for you guys, because you're trying to get into, different fields. So yes, it is very important that you do well in your grades, but I more celebrate the process. So I want to make sure everyone, understands that point, that it's about the process. Your end result is a reflection of your process. So if I look back, and I'll tell you my eighth grade story and who Fareed Murad was. But when I look back that I had a very clear goals in mind in my life. I deconstructed my goals and said, what are the barriers to climb that ladder to get to my goals? And then I just said, what is the barriers and how do I overcome those barriers? And I did that over and over and over again till I got to where I needed to get to. I I always celebrate the process. I want to know how you guys get to the end result. So, for example, did you go and meet with your teacher assistant? Did you go after hours with your professor? Did you create study groups? Did you do the old tests? Did you learn what they're going to ask on the test? Did you review the information before the lecture? Then did you attend the lecture? Then did you review the information after lecture? Those are processes. Your A or B or A plus or whatever grade you get is just a reflection of your process. So think about as you work through your goals, what are your barriers? And what are the processes that you're going through to get to that end result? The end result is only a reflection of your attitude, of your passion, and of your strategy that you create for yourself to attain your goal. The goal is actually very calculable if your process is good. Does that make sense? Yeah. So eighth grade, I had done a poster board on Doppler echocardiography. I talked about red shift and blue shift, and if you have an ambulance that comes through, you'll hear high pitch, and when it passes you, you hear low pitch. That's a Doppler change in frequency. Anyways, my eighth grade teacher said, I know your dad's a cardiologist, and how do I know your dad didn't do this poster? And I said, well, my dad's a fellow with DeBakey and Cooley. So he is like, I'll be surprised if he even knows what school I go to and what grade I'm in. He's a workaholic. And right now he's in this crazy fellowship. And I will tell you that I did do this poster. I did it myself, and I'm ready to defend my poster now in front of all my colleagues. And I did. And the professor came after I presented and said, Asif, you get an A in the class. You don't need to take the final, and good luck on, becoming the person you want to become in your career. And I was very determined because of that incident that I'm going to, nothing's going to stop me to getting to um, my end goal to become a cardiologist. So imagine from eighth grade, I was really focused on going into cardiology. That was my life goal. So first year of medical school, I'm in an elevator at midnight. I'm just wrapping up to take a biochem exam in the morning, first year. And this PhD named Fareed Murad comes into the elevator at that time. And Fareed Murad says, hey, Dr. Ali, he doesn't know me. I mean, I know him. He doesn't know me. I'm not important to him at all at that point. He's a uh, PhD Nobel Prize winner. And he says, "Do you know who I am?" And I said, "Of course I know who you are. You're Fried Murad. You won the Nobel laureate in nitric oxide. Your name's all over the school. You know, there's um, I know who you are." So he said, "All right, I want to talk to you. Come over to my office." So it doesn't matter. And this is one of the points I'm going to make at the end. You take the meeting, right? If it doesn't matter if it's whatever the time is, you take the meeting when you know that it could be, something for you to grow. And so I took the meeting, and Fareed Murad said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm trying to pass my biochem exam tomorrow morning." And he goes, "What are you doing in life?" And I said, "I want to be, my lifelong goal, right, is to be a cardiologist." And at that point, he starts yawning. Like, my life aspiration being a cardiologist is almost like taking out the trash. He's kind of like, and like, what are you doing in life? And I didn't really have something more because that was my life goal. Like, I want to be a cardiologist. That was it. And to me, to him, that was like no big deal. And what? And then, and so I said, well, I better shut up and just hear you out. What should I be doing? And he said, Asif, go get a master's in public health and understand what population health is. Understand that as a cardiologist, you're going to be able to impact, maybe 25, 30, 50,000 patients, but you need to figure out how you create problem solutions in population health. You need to understand what public benefit companies are. How it, on the things that you're working on, how is that actually going to help engage and improve public health and individuals and population health? And because of that one conversation with Dr. Murad, I went out and did that, and that set my career into entrepreneurship and being a physician at the same time. So, as future applicants, I'm going to give you some recommendations, but I'm going to start with, at the end of the day, make sure you're you. Be authentic and be passionate about whatever you do. So I have interviewed over 1,000 students on the admissions committee for UT Medical School. The one student out of all of those thousands of students that uh, really stick out in my brain is an individual who was actually 40 when he was applying to med school. Number two, he had a very atypical application. There was a company called Fossil who used to make watches, and they also made sunglasses. He was the guy who created all of the sunglass line. Had nothing to do with medical, but happens to be the individual that I remember out of any student that I interviewed for medical school. He was authentic. He was him. He was passionate about what he was doing. And he was able to tie his brand, his messaging into innovation in medicine. And it was a wonderful conversation of how someone who was making sunglasses for Fossil was able to bring that into an essay and really apply it. I really loved the conversation about technology transfer into what he was passionate about into medicine. So some advice to you guys is, make sure you start early. And the fact that you guys are here. So actually, even before that, let me make a statement. Show up. Show up. Half the battle is showing up. If you don't show up, you're not being part of the solution. So half the battle is just showing up, being on time, being interested, being engaged. So that is actually, participate and start early. Join summer research, hospital volunteer programs. just like I did very early on, find mentors, ask, connect, and stay curious. And it's not just mentors, but um, you know, it's very difficult when you're in undergrad to really stand out. But one of the ways to stand out is, stick your neck out a little bit. Go talk to your professors. You don't have to say much. You don't have to, kiss butt, but be authentic and just go up to them and say, look, um, I have a trajectory in mind. This course is really important. What are the opportunities in this course to, be more connected? Um, if it wasn't, covered in the curriculum to begin with. Um, I also think it's very important, and I do this a lot with students. It's actually very, very, very important that you figure out as early as possible if this is something that you really want to do. I actually tell students, um, the sooner you can figure out something that you want to do, or sooner you can figure out it's something that you shouldn't be doing, the better. But being in limbo is never good. And I teach my medical students, MD means make decisions. You got to make decisions. You cannot be in limbo. So the more that you can be involved, summer research, hospital volunteer, being connected in the areas of that you're interested in, and finding out if that's really a passion of yours. But the worst thing you could do is because, and I hate to say it this way, because mommy and daddy said, you need to be a doctor. That never works out. I can read through, I've done this enough times in an interview, I can feel out a student very quickly if they're really passionate about this, if they really want to be doing this, or they're doing it for the right or wrong reasons. So that comes back to authentic, passionate, and being you. Um, Show leadership. I think physicians are leaders, and that starts early. And then be open to setbacks. You're not expected to be perfect, but it's the setbacks that really shape you. The journey is long. Um, I'm sitting here with 10 interns in my, office, and they're looking at me like, "Oh, I thought it ends after med school and your residency and your fellowship." No, we're lifelong learners. So, the best I think advice, or it's not really advice, the best response I ever got from a patient was the following statement that, you as a doctor are still curious. And that really made me like, out of any feedback I've ever got from a patient, I think that defines um, my relationship with patients, which is if you're curious, you care. If you're curious, you're going to figure it out. If you're curious, you're going to do the most and the best out of your capacity to figure out what the problem solution is. So be curious, ask, be involved. Um, I think I've learned, so I used to not have interns who were any younger than fellows or PhDs, but I've learned that actually it is very much your group that is needed in medicine, your background and your vision. You guys come from a very different set of lenses that might be more practical, in fact, than actually some of the MDs who are practicing medicine because you have a unique perspective. But I think the thing is, you need to have the curiosity and the opportunities to voice your passions and bring that to light into opportunities. So think about whatever that means to you. But really, I believe that it's actually this generation that voice that needs to be held. So heard. So figure out how to create the platforms with your brand to be able to voice your opinions. And your why, which is your authenticity, will really carry you through these challenges because it is your passions that will come out and it will be evident as you become part of, which is my next point, the fabric of your institution. So when you show up to anything you do, be present. Don't be on your phones. Be present, be locked in. Soft skills, I cannot emphasize. It's my pet peeve. Stand up, handshake, eye contact, disclosures. One of the hardest questions that I ask in interviews, and I do it off the bat, and it makes people uncomfortable as hell, is just tell me about yourself. If I asked each of you on this call, tell me about yourself, I want you to think about what you would tell me. I'm, I didn't ask you to tell me your GPA. I didn't ask you to tell me about your MCAT. I didn't ask you to regurgitate your personal statement. I didn't ask you to tell me about your curriculum vitae, your CV, your resume. I asked you to tell me about you. And when I ask you that question, I want to know what makes you you. I want to know what makes you passionate. I want to know about your story. Essentially, I want to know about your brand. So by being part of the fabric of whatever you do, and we always say this in my organization, become indispensable, become so important and integral to the fabric of that institution that they cannot lose you. And then you've ascended to a point where you are inexcusably important to that organization. We talk about question everything. Don't just take things by face value. You have to prove it to yourself. And to be able to do that, you need to not be afraid to ask questions. And, I lecture large arena, large areas, hundreds of, students. And, always look at, the front seat people versus the back seat. By the way, I always ask the questions to the back seat people, but always be, um, put yourself out there. This is your time to learn. This is not your time to hide. This is your time to learn. So don't be afraid to ask questions and put yourself out there. Again, discomfort is part of how you grow. And when you get the opportunity, don't take that opportunity for granted. This is my LinkedIn. So if you want to link in with me, I'm happy to do that. I have a website. It's asifaliMD.com. We created a machine learning model that's an AI model that you can ask questions. We're still in a beta test, so you get some crazy answers. We're still working on it, but we're love for you guys to actually test out that site. And what it does is it kind of defines me in three silos. Either I'm looking at someone as a physician, or we're working on research, or we have a venture arm, which is commercialization. So we try to silo the academia from the commercial, and then the physician part is a separate silo. And with that, I think we did that right at 4:30. So the 30-minute mark, right on the dot. Um, I'm not sure if y'all open up for questions or not. I probably
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
5-10 minutes here to do that, but happy to field any questions for you guys.
All right. Thank you
And
so
thank
much,
you
Dr.
for having me on today.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Elliott. We'll go ahead and take some questions, and just let us know when you have to go and have to stop. Just we'll take some that are people from that have raised hands, and as well as some from the chat. So the first hand I see is from Crystal Galvin.
Mhm.
Hello, can you hear me?
Perfect.
Yes. Okay. So my question for you is, what was your passion or the thing that motivated you to become a cardiologist?
No, it's a great question. So it definitely wasn't because my father was a cardiologist. In fact, I was really turned off on the lack of work-life balance. So I think it's a culmination that I got exposed to cardiology because of Denton Cooley very early. I got to go see an open heart surgery, and I thought it was just so fascinating that the heart has, when you say cardiology, it has so many aspects to it. It can be plumbing, it can be electrical, that's electrophysiology. It can involve the valves. Um, and very quickly, I had a friend of mine who died of sudden cardiac death as an athlete, and it really shaped my trajectory. So in the state of Texas, I had an opportunity where I later on, because of the death of a friend of mine from sudden cardiac death, I conducted a research paper called with Dr. Higgins called HEARTS, Houston Early Age Risk Testing Screening Study. And because of that paper, I ended up becoming the cardiologist for the Houston Rockets, ended up going on Dr. Oz show and Fox and Friends, and ended up getting called to state Congress and Senate to get the first bill passed in the state of Texas to screen kids for sudden cardiac death. So, and then now we just passed a bill in the state of Florida to do the same. So it's been a long continuum um, of, you know, making an impact in a field that I got exposed very early on.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All right.
you.
Question I'll take from the chat. Someone asked, what other questions have you asked in like interviews?
Sure. Yeah. So I want everyone to create a box real quickly. So 4 squares, I'll answer this very quickly. So in your interviews, you need to be very prepared and ready to answer the following 4 items. One corner, you need to know your GPA and your MCAT down pat. So a very consistent um, individual that I will interview has not done well in their first year. It's a very common thing because in the first year, individuals are trying to figure, you come from high school, you think you know how to study, and then college throws this curveball. So you need to be able, so you need to be able to speak upon, maybe you had a death in the family, maybe, listen, out of 1,000 students that I've interviewed, no two are the same. So everyone has a different brand, like I talked about, and everyone has a different pathway to get to their end goal. So don't think just because your pathway doesn't sound like your friends or other people that, all hope is lost. There's many, many, many ways, many pathways to get to your end goal. Number two, the next corner you need to be able to talk about is your is your CV, kind of your curriculum vitae. So it should be very cohesive. And I would say with your CV is your personal statement. So you should know those very down pat. So if I ask something within that, you should be able to talk about it. In your CV, that includes research. And I can break down someone's research in about 30 seconds and ask you certain questions. So I can tell if you are part of a paper and all you did for that summer is pipetted, or were you involved in the constructs of that paper, or were you involved in the data collection, or were you involved in the writing of the paper, the publishing of the paper? So you need to be very honest about, your research and what you actually did. I will call you out in a second, and it's very easy to do that. Then another corner you need to talk to me about is your volunteerism. So here's an issue, right? You tell me that, Dr. Ali, I have been interested in medicine my whole life. I am so passionate about it. I've always wanted to do this. This is the thing that I wake up and I go to sleep. And then I go look at your CV and I see you have no volunteerism. You've done no shadowing. You've done no research. So it's like your talk. Like, guys, y'all need to walk the walk. You have to show me what words come out of your mouth need to be justified with the things that you have done. And you need to be able to talk about it. If you're actually passionate about it, when I ask you, tell me about yourself, you need to be able to do an elevator pitch to me. Hi, I'm Dr. Asif Ali. I'm a clinical assistant professor at UT Medical School and U of H. I'm passionate about preventative medicine. I'm passionate about whatever, whatever, whatever. But I'm not thinking about it. It's on demand. You should be able to talk about yourself. You should be able to talk about yourself passionately. It shouldn't be a tough conversation when I ask you to tell me about yourself. I didn't ask you to regurgitate all the stuff I read about you. I'm asking you to tell me what makes you human. Tell me about your story. Everyone has a brand. Everyone has a story. I want to know about your story. I want to know about your brand. I want to know what makes you tick. At the end of the day, I want to make sure you're a good human being that is doing things for the right reason because it's a career. Um, it's a career. It's something that you're committing the rest of your life. I want to make sure the candidate that I'm accepting in this medical school is someone that we should be accepting. I'm going to make one more point real quickly. The fourth part is in your box is what I just said. It's you as a human, you as a human being. There are many ways to climb the ladder, guys. And a colleague of mine from, I think this was from Cornell, said it very well. There are many ways to climb the ladder. You can be very powerful in many, many different ways and different aspects. So, do we all agree that the sun, like the star, the sun, is very powerful? I think we can all agree with that. Do we also agree that a black hole is very powerful? I think we also agree that a black hole is very powerful. A sun emits, a black hole sucks everything in. We don't want black holes. We want suns. We want good human beings who all boats rise, right? Who are collaborative, who are going to be part of the fabric, who are going to participate, and who are going to pull the rest of their colleagues together to get to the end goal. That's what we're really looking for. And you need to be able to convince me. By the way, when I'm interviewing you for on the admissions committee, what essentially I am doing on your behalf is taking your information. I'm almost like a broker. I'm going to the admissions committee and fighting for you. So if you don't give me the materials to go fight for you, then it's almost like the Jerry Maguire movie. You need to help me to help you. And your personal statement, your brand, your mission is to help me help you in the admissions committee to say that this is the sun, not the black hole that we're looking for. This is a good human being. And by the way, this individual has backed up everything they've opened their mouth on their CV, on their personal statement, and there is a consistency, there is depth. They didn't just go and do a bunch of check boxes to apply to this medical school. They went deep into their passion and they're able to communicate with me their passion so I can go to the admissions committee and say, this is a good human being. This is a son. This is someone who should be part of our ecosystem. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah, that was a
We're
wonderful
looking.
response. Thank you. Again, let us know
One
when
more
you
question.
one more
Yep.
question. Okay. I see again, if I pronounce your name wrong, please let me know. Mahaila.
It's Mahalia.
Hi, Mahalia.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Okay, so I have like a general question. I'm in high school and I really want to start my medical journey early, and I'm new to all of this, and I'm just like so lost on what to do, like finding mentors, volunteering, and I get like so nervous because I'm a first generation immigrant and I would be like the first person in my family to graduate here, and I really want to make them proud. And I'm just like so confused on what to do because medicine has like always been my passion since seventh grade.
Okay, so there's a movie I want you to watch. Can you look it up for me real quickly? I think it's called Million Miles, or ask you Lisa for the name of the company, the movie, if you don't mind. I'll tell you the name of a movie. So I have a student here actually who's a first generation, paid her way through college. Parents don't understand what she's going through. She's on her own. She's paid for her car, paid for her college and and there's a movie that really I think visualized the question that you're asking. So I'm going to recommend you will go watch this movie. It is called A Million Miles Away. So I'd recommend you watching A Million Miles Away. Um, I actually recommend everyone on this call to watch A Million Miles Away because it's about a Hispanic first gen trying to become an astronaut. And it's literally the exact story of one of my students here. And I would say in your high school, talk to your science teacher, if you don't have a STEM project, start it. And if and you'd be surprised, within your city, where are you from?
Like where
What
I'm
city are
living
you
right now.
calling in? Yeah.
I'm
What
living
city?
in Minnesota.
In Minnesota. Okay. I know for a fact some of the universities, you can reach out to them and get involved. Um, I put in my assistant. Her name is Ulissa. In fact, she's the student. Um, this is her second gap year with me. I know there's a lot of hands up, and I won't be able to get to them at this point because I have to run for another meeting. But I've given you my assistant's email. I've given you my LinkedIn. By the way, everyone here should have a LinkedIn account. A LinkedIn account is a professional account. It is not a social media account. It is for professionals. There are a lot of professionals that are using these LinkedIn um, as a way to. So once you do join LinkedIn, you'll find that there's a lot of opportunities, even for high school students on LinkedIn, to connect with other people. So I would highly recommend as a action item to leave you with is to create a LinkedIn account. And I'm sure the MedSTEM Power, do y'all have a LinkedIn account?
Yeah, we
So
do.
first line of action, become a follower of MedSTEM Powered. If you also would like, Siena Research Institute has its own LinkedIn, and you can see some of the work we're doing there as well. And with that said, it was a pleasure to
Thank
talk
you
to you
so much,
guys.
Dr. Ali. We will share all your links to our students. And before you leave, we do want to give you a Zoom round of applause. We always want to give our amazing guest speakers who take time out of their busy days to come speak to us. So everyone, if you want to navigate there and click the Zoom round of applause.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Nice to meet everyone, and best of luck on your journey through your education. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, everyone, we'll go ahead and launch our poll for attendance now. And we'll get started with the second half of the workshop in just a few seconds. I know there was like 20 hands raised, so I know that you'll probably have a lot of questions. So I'll send out, I put in the chat Ulissa's email that he directed you all to contact if you have additional questions. But we'll also, this is again a great segue because today we'll be talking about how you can use your summer experience here to boost your LinkedIn, boost your resume, your college application, whatever your next steps are. So we'll talk about that today here. But before we do that, I want to make sure everyone gets the chance to answer the poll. So I will go ahead and release it now. Okay, there you go. We just launched the poll. So I'll give everyone around 2 to 3 minutes to answer that to make sure. If you do not see it, we will go ahead and feel free to message Rourke on Slack. Again, he is getting hundreds of messages a day. We have a very large cohort here and an international cohort. So he has a lot of messages to get through. So please be patient with him. He will respond to you. And I'm telling everyone that reaches out to me about like just why we haven't been able to reach out to everyone. Because again, we have so many students participating in our program. We will get back to everyone. And if you have questions about poll and you text work during like right now, like for instance, you don't see a poll and you text work now and you let him know, you are set. Like you do not have to worry about it. That counts as your attendance. So he will waive that requirement for you. So if you cannot see it, go navigate to Slack right now and just send Rourke a quick message. And he will, if you send it now, that will be your waiver for the poll. Yes, we will put the email for contacting Dr. Asif Ali in the Slack as well. Yes, we will do that. So we'll go ahead and get started in about a minute or two. So yeah. I see a few questions. Since we have some extra time today, I can go ahead and answer those. I see Hannah. How can I help?
Yeah, so I saw the homework application, like the final homework,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
and there was like a multiple choice where like which one I was supposed to attend, the national or international. So I was
we'll actually
Yeah.
discuss the whole homework from like live. I'll walk through with you all so y'all can see it. So I'll show you exactly what you need to do. For instance, if you attended a national versus international. So we'll address that question today here. I promise.
Okay, thank you.
And Judy, how can I help? Judy? Okay. Feel free to message me again if you're I'll stay around today for any program logistical questions. And again, if you don't see the poll, message work on Slack. And I'll go ahead and get started. Yes, Judy.
Hello?
Yes, how can I help?
I'm sorry. I just want to ask about American universities.
Okay, feel free to stick around today after the program has ended, and I'll answer your questions. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen in just a second. Feel free to answer the poll right now. We do have around 10% of people that still need to answer it. So I'll keep it open for a couple more minutes. But make sure you answer that now. All right, I'll go ahead and keep the poll open for a few more minutes and I will end it soon. So I'll go ahead and get started. I know on the program schedule, we're planning
Sorry,
to do.
before you start, sorry
Yes.
to interrupt.
Can you
You
send-
mentioned the homework assignments.
Yes, we
Where
will
was
discuss
that? Was that was?
we will discuss it right now. Like I'm going through I'll go through all of what you need to know and the next steps. So yeah, we'll address that question here. We'll address that question in a few minutes. Davina's gonna hop on, I think, in a couple of minutes. And that's when we'll take the group photo. So we're taking a group photo so we can have that as a kind of like a to remember your program experience with us. So when she arrives, we'll take that group photo for either the middle or the end of today's session. So yeah, we'll go. I'm go ahead and share my screen and get started with our last workshop today. Can't believe it's already the last day of our programming. So I want to let y'all know that due to time constraints, we did move over the medical microbiology and immunology workshop. We are in the process of recording that workshop and we will send it via Slack as an optional workshop you can complete. We'll have a Google form where you can practice what you've learned if you're interested. So again, we wanted to have time today to discuss that, but it was going to take much longer than 20 minutes. And we wanted to make sure we gave you a full comprehensive understanding of that workshop and not just snippets of it. Secondly, I sent a Slack yesterday about a medical admissions committee officer joining us possibly as an optional webinar for you to attend around in August. I want to let you know we did confirm her for August 6th. We'll send more information about when she's speaking and how you can join as well. On Slack, I'll send it over either this afternoon or tomorrow. So we did confirm her for those that were interested in attending that session. And now we want to move on to our top debater. So thank you all for all participating in our medical debate on Wednesday. We wanted to shout out a few people who we recognize as top debaters. However, those that participated, we thank you. Again, this was a really hard thing to kind of combine and choose top debaters this year because we had such wonderful conversations. So without further ado, we'll show our top debaters. So if you're in the international cohort and attending the national cohort today, here is the debate winners from the AM sessions. And here are our PM session winners. So if you see your name here and you see we've accidentally mistyped it or it's not correct, message us on Slack immediately. We'll get that sent over. We'll get it fixed and we'll send over these debate certificates next week. So there's actually two sections. So this is continued. So we have two slides of our recognized students from the medical debate. Again, if you didn't get a reward, no worries. We have other opportunities where you can get awards as well. So stay tuned for that. But these are our national debate winners. Congratulations. So now I want to move over and talk about our research symposium. Firstly, the research symposium is not part of you being eligible for your certificate. This is an optional activity that you can choose to voluntarily participate in. You will have awards available. So that's also one of the pluses of participating in the research symposium. But this is really for students that want to get an edge up and if you're in high school, early undergrad, and want to develop some real research skills, this is an opportunity for you. So I'll go ahead and share navigate over. Can everyone see my screen, correct? I didn't ask. I hope everyone can see my screen. Let me check the chat. Yes. Okay, great. Okay, I'll go ahead and navigate to our prompt. So just some logistics. This year we're doing a medical innovations challenge, and the deadline for submission is going to be on August 15th. And this we will discuss exactly how there'll be a form where everything will be pretty streamlined on how you can go about submitting. But this year we wanted to focus on navigating and understanding there are a ton of major global health challenges that threaten billions of lives, such as climate change, antibiotic resistance, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, malnutrition, infectious disease. So the goal of this medical innovation challenge, or the research symposium this year, is for you to select one of these global health threats and develop a realistic and applicable solution. So your solution can focus really on anything. It can be you can improve on diagnostic capabilities, prevention, treatment. It just has to be a real world health issue. And again, we do have kind of a brief kind of synopsis of what you can choose to work on. However, we are not limiting you. So if there are other global health threats, challenges, for example, in your region, or a global health challenge that has personally affected you that you want to explore, feel free to do so. And we have, again, we'll share this prompt with you. I'll go ahead and share this document with you all now for those interested in following along. And again, the major requirements for this kind of project or this research symposium is that we want these to be solutions that are thought out and have some applicability. So feel free to pull out past research ideas. I really recommend you spending some time, delving into some literature from the past that's working on the issue that you want to tackle. And what's really important about this challenge is we not only want you to just present the topic, we want you to develop either a modern approach, develops a new benchmark text that can be performed, plan out an experiment. We know you guys don't have access to laboratory settings, so we know that this is going to be very planning it out, thinking through this. So again, we want you to, however, think one step ahead. We don't want you only to present the research topic, we want you to build upon it. So again, we have all the requirements listed out on this doc. I don't want to spend 30 minutes going through everything. However, next week, we will have an option for those that are interested in participating in the research symposium. We'll have an optional session that you can join to ask any of your questions, to see some of our award winners from last year. We had some great submissions last year that won awards on multiple categories. Awards are competitive for the research symposium, so we do expect it to be competitive. However, we do encourage everyone that is interested to apply to participate in the symposium. We also have provided a really in-depth rubric, and this rubric goes through everything that we will use to kind of grade your symposium submission. So again, creativity, visuals, developmental and strategic aspect, real world application. So everything we'll be using to grade is on this rubric. So this will give you the leg up. So make sure you are following this. I've graded research symposiums for the last 4 years, and I'm telling you that there are so many people that do not follow this rubric at all and lose points, such easy points. So I encourage you all, as you're working through your as you're working through your project, to ensure that you're following the rubric. Again, this also can be a group project. You can work individually or you can work as part of groups. We do recommend, however, that you do try and form a group. Our most successful projects in the past have been students that have worked together. We'll create a Slack channel where you can find a group if you don't know many people in the program. This is a great way to meet more people. So we'll have that as an option for you to join. And we'll have a registration form that will be due, I believe, next week. I'll get to deadlines in just a second. But yeah, that is our research symposium. We'll have the registration form that if you want to participate in the optional symposium is Saturday, August 2nd. And if you have any questions, we will address that next week. And I'll also take some time now to address any. So I'll look in the chat. Does anyone have any questions? I know, again, I sped through this and there's a lot of possible questions. We have a dedicated session next week. Davina will let you know exactly what day that is for those that are interested in joining the symposium. And if you work alone, no, you do not get any points off. You do not have, you will be, we will grade you completely as we would grade any other team. And this would look great on college apps. So if you haven't done research before and want to delve into medical research, this is a great time. I am doing a summer research internship this year, and my first 2 weeks of my role, I spent doing literature reviews. I tried looking at innovations within the field I was researching. So this gives you the leg up. So do something you're passionate about. Don't do something, if you're interested, develop a passion. This is a great way that you can talk about in applications that you spent, your summer doing some research on a topic that you're really interested in, and it can kind of help you, develop your theme in your application. And again, I'll put the link again here. We will share all these links through email as well as Slack after. So if you do not see this, if you do not see the link, we will share that as well. I'll go check the waiting room to make sure we're admitted. All right. And then again, the research symposium is completely optional. So you do not have to compete in the research symposium to be eligible for your certificate. So this again is an optional research symposium. It's not mandatory. You do not have to do it. You are still eligible. So if you've attended 5 out of the 6 of the sessions, and you have completed the homework form, which we'll talk about in just a few seconds, you are completely eligible to get our shadowing certificate. And this will not hurt you. This is again optional. Again, we will also share all the names of our medical debate winners. And I see Hannah's hand up. I'll take a few questions. However, I do have to move on. So I'll stick around after as well to answer any questions. Hannah? Okay, I'll move on to the next person. I see Alexandria.
For the research symposium, should we be making a new research thing, or if we have worked on research in the past on certain issues, can you use that, or is it supposed to be a new thing?
You can use past research. I feel like it will be helpful to have some context in what you're doing. However, make sure you're addressing all the requirements in the document, in the rubric. So if you've addressed everything, if you're not like using a past submission completely, like for instance, if you did a project in high school and you're just trying to use that same project here, we don't recommend that. We want this to be a way for you to develop skills. However, if you've already researched something that you're passionate about that pertains to the topic, yes, feel free to use.
Okay, thank you. I have a lot of research studies planned, so I have kind of a backlog because I use it as a hobby.
Of course. Yeah, this is a great way to further that. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll take the rest of the questions. And wait, do we earn the shadowing certificate by the shadowing? Yes. Yes, so there is we're working on just creating kind of like a MedSTEM Power journal of past submissions. So that is what would be, if we do go ahead and create that journal, that would be where you'll be published. But we're still kind of thinking through all that, how that's going to look like. But this would be an opportunity for you to like develop your research skill, win awards on multiple categories that we have. And again, those specific questions, if you want to know what awards we have and what we're looking for, if you want to see past examples of successful submissions, next week will be the date that you'll get all the information. Again, we'll release that date to you all soon. All right, so I'll stick around later to ask any questions for the research symposium. But otherwise, I will go ahead and move on. Again, yes, we'll post the categories of what we're looking for hopefully by next week. Okay, upcoming deadlines. This is important. Take a screenshot of this. We're also going to send this out on Slack. A week from today, August 1st, 11:59 will be when our mandatory post-program homework is due. We're giving everyone 1 week to complete this homework form. So we will not be providing any extensions. You have 1 week to complete this form. It should take you about 15 to 30 minutes to complete it. And that same day, we also have our guest speaker thank you form due. And as well as any notes that you've taken for our program, you can submit it by that day as well. And then the following day, Saturday, August 2nd, is when our research symposium registration form is due. And then that following Friday is when our executive internship application is due. We're releasing this form on Monday because we know this is kind of overwhelming with all these different forms. So we'll release the homework form today, and then on Monday we'll have our internship application open. And then that following Friday, we'll have our research symposium submission due. Again, next week we'll have an optional office hours that you can attend if you want to, run through some ideas and see those past successful submissions. And I'll go ahead and actually send the homework form now in the chat. Give me 1 second so everyone can have it. If you don't see it, we'll send it on Slack as well. I'm trying to navigate to the form. So here is our mandatory program homework, and I'll send it in the chat now. And then thank you form, we will send as well. And we'll talk about the internship in just a few seconds. I'm making sure I got all the questions answered. Okay. And here, again, I'll send the homework form once again. Again, the homework form shouldn't take you too long to complete. We do have, it's practically just kind of gathering information about your experience here at Next Empowered, as well as reflecting on some of the speakers that we've had and some of the optional kind of activities that you could have done. We just want to get to know more about your experience here and see how we can improve. We do have, I would again recommend you take about 30 minutes to set aside 30 minutes to complete that. Also, this is a really big important notice is do not use AI. Do not use AI on submitting the research symposium. Do not use AI on doing the homework form. We don't grade on grammar. We would love that you practice proper grammar. However, we don't grade strictly on grammar. So for instance, if your English isn't the best or English isn't your first language, we understand that. So we want to hear your authentic words. So do not use AI. We do have an AI system in place. And if we do find you using AI, we will automatically disqualify you from the certificate. And that will be pretty much, that will be non-negotiable. So please do not use AI of any sort. We want to hear from your experiences and your own thoughts here on this forum. So yeah, I wanted to reiterate that. And that's same goes for the research symposium. You really need to do not use AI for that. I hate having to flag up. We had to flag a handful of applications this year for AI. And it's really sad because we want to accept everyone. We want to accept people and we want to be as lenient as possible. But we do have an AI policy in place. So please do not use AI. Yes, the homework would take about 30 minutes to complete. Again, we want to kind of see your reflection of the program. Again, it could take you less time, but I just wanted to, it does, we do have about, I think, 7 or 8 questions that are free response that you have to answer. Again, it's going to close, the deadline for that is on next Friday. So you have 1 week to finish it. So more than enough time. Okay, our executive internship. So every year we recruit about 2 to 3 students to join our executive team, and you'll be working directly with core leadership to run future summer programs. So a lot of what we're doing behind the scenes on marketing, outreach, gathering guest speakers for the year, all of that goes into running one of our summer camps, you will be working on it directly. And we expect all applications to be competitive. So please make sure to put in great efforts. Do not use AI. Again, you'll be automatically rejected. So do not use AI. The internship application will be released Monday, but we have a few optional questions, such as recording a potential video of yourself and kind of telling us about your passions and stuff. So we do recommend that you do the optional activities. But I just wanted to let you know that will be released Monday. All questions, feel free to redirect them to either me or Davina. And so our internship, actually, yes. So we do have initiatives throughout the year. However, we expect probably spend 2 hours a week, less during the school year. However, during our actual camp sessions, we run a winter camp and a summer camp. That's when the hours kind of stack up a little bit, maybe 5 to 6 hours a week. So again, we'll post all these forms on Slack, and we'll post all the forms on Slack. Yeah, but interns do not work throughout the year. Again, we are very flexible. We know people are busy. School always comes first, but we do recruit now. So if you love this summer program and want to contribute, if you want to implement your own ideas to our organization, we really want you to apply. So yeah, we'll have that application deadline open on Monday, and the deadline for the executive internship application is August 8th. So in about 2 weeks. And we're open to any questions for that. If you submitted a form I sent out earlier last week about participant features, you will be featured on either Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. I will be reaching out to you directly on ensuring that what we're putting out in terms of what you said and on how you respond on the form is accurate. So please stay on the lookout for my reach out. I will be reaching out tomorrow morning, throughout the weekend as well. So if you do want to fill out the participant feature form and you haven't, it is in the announcements on Slack. All right, yes, I'll go ahead and move on. Okay, now more about M.D.s Powered. Knowing just a little bit more about our organization, it is actually M.D.s Powered's 5th birthday. We've been running, this is actually our 6th summer camp that we have run, and I believe our 10th overall event. Again, we thank Davina for creating this organization and impacting so many students worldwide. We had around 50 different countries of students apply to our program this year. So we have such global diversity. And again, this would not be possible without Davina's hard work. So please send her a thank you message on Slack. Like, truly, like, she is awesome. And it's been a privilege for me to have been able to work with her. So feel free to send her a thank you message for creating this opportunity for students. Yeah, on Slack. I'm looking at the chat to see if there's any questions. We love a COVID baby. Yes, this was actually created during COVID. Davina actually attended a summer program that was paid, and she didn't believe that it was she didn't develop as many skills as she wanted to. So she used that as her mission to launch M.D.s Empowered. And we've been 5 years strong since then. And again, here's some of the things that we've done. I'm not going to read through this list, but some notable: we've hosted summer camps since 2020. We've had winter camps since 2021. We've awarded over 3,200 certificates of completion with excellence throughout all of our programs. We created a BSMD mentorship program that's run by Jonathan that has offered over $50,000 of mentorship. We have hosted MCAT research sessions. We've reached over 180,000 people on Instagram. So we've done a lot here. So again, if you're interested in contributing to our mission, our executive internship program is the way to go. So please apply. We want to take your ideas here. One of our interns, Jonathan, which you'll meet right here, you probably saw him at a few of our sessions, as well as the optional research session that we had earlier this week. He actually he was an intern at M.D.s Empowered, and he implemented the BSMD mentorship program. So we really want to take your ideas and implement them to our organization. So yeah, thank you to our amazing team, especially Davina, Rorik, Jonathan, and everyone else who made this summer possible. Again, feel free to reach out to them on Slack and thank them for all their hard work this summer. So yeah, this is our team, and we want to give a special shout out to Ayan, Mona, and Yomna, who are our current interns who've done an amazing job. So you might have seen them on Slack, responding to your messages, moderating the chat, letting people in from the waiting room. So I want to give a special shout out to all of them. And yes, open positions, like I just talked about, we do have our executive internship application open. However, if you don't want to be an intern and you want to still provide some feedback and want to, if you have some way that you think we can improve, we want to hear from you. So feel free to message either me or Davina on Slack, and we'll be more than happy to hear about your suggestions for our program. But yeah, the executive internship application again opens up next Monday, and you'll have the opportunity to apply and be part of our team. And then now I want to move on to the next section. But before I move on, I want to check if we have any questions. Again, our itinerary is going to be available. So if you, for instance, related a lot with one of the guest speakers and you want to reach out to them, our itinerary is complete with their contact list, and you can access that at any time. I'm going to update it with all of the specific, ways that the guest speakers have asked you to contact them today and tomorrow. So we will have that all updated as well. But both our international and national program, all of our speakers and how to contact them is going to be updated on our program itinerary. All right. What is the 30 minutes? I'm not sure I understand your question. What were the positions available? But the positions that we have available on our team are the executive internship applications. Those are the applications that you can apply to be part of our team. Is it necessary to apply? So no, it is not necessary to apply to the certificate, to the internship for the certificate of completion. And we'll talk about it again. So the certificate of completion, you will get a certificate emailed to you by our Medstem Powered emails. That's the only way you'll receive an email is from our direct email, either info@Medstem Powered or either one of our teams at medstempowered.org. It will be certified through our organization, Medstem Powered, and will include the shadowing hours. So how you can get a certificate, there's two important steps. You have had to attend 5 out of 6 of the sessions to be qualified to get a certificate. And again, if there are other extenuating circumstances that did not allow you to attend 5 out of 6 sessions, message one of us on Slack and we'll see what options are available. However, we are pretty strict on ensuring that to be eligible for certificate, you have to have attended 5 out of 6 sessions and then completing the homework. There's no other, and then making sure you do the making sure that you've attended 5 out of 6 sessions live, as well as answering those polls. So if you missed a poll, for example, and if you messaged Rorik, you're all set. However, we will check poll attendance as well because we want to see that you've been engaged with the sessions. And the duration of the internship, they usually last about 1 year. They go from we typically hire October, September, but when the application is released to when we actually hire, it takes about a couple of weeks for us to do that. So it's usually from September to the end of that next year summer. However, you can ask Davina if you want to know the specific dates. Again, you can apply to the internship even if you're under 18. Again, I'll take more questions if anyone has, and this is all virtual. We run virtually, Medstem Powered. Again, I'll take more questions at the end, but I want to make sure we can end on time. So yeah, making sure that you, so again, those are the requirements for the certificate. And then now LinkedIn. So as Dr. Ali was saying, LinkedIn is a great way to network as well as connect with Medstem Powered, our team, as well as other program participants from your cohort of students. So please create a LinkedIn if you haven't already. It's a great way to get opportunities. A lot of the internships and opportunities that I have received in college was because through LinkedIn, I've reached out to people, asked them for opportunities. So be comfortable with reaching out. It's hard, it's difficult, it's uncomfortable. However, please do that just because it allows you to, it opens up a whole realm of new possibilities for you. So connect with people that you're passionate about. Ask people to be your mentors, like meet with them. That's a great way to use LinkedIn to enhance, your self-development. So yeah, what is LinkedIn? Again, LinkedIn is a platform for networking. You can showcase your work experiences, your honors, your awards. You can create posts as well as find opportunities. You can create an account by just going to linkedin.com. And this is kind of how it looks when you open LinkedIn. And so now you finish the summer program. How do you add it to your personal LinkedIn? So we've kind of provided a step-by-step breakdown of exactly how this looks like. We will provide this slideshow for you at the end of today's session as well, so you can just utilize it to implement it into your own LinkedIn. So you would click on your personal profile, you'll scroll down to experience section, you'll click the plus button, and then you'll put the title of your program. So this will be the 2025 program, and then your employment type, and then you'll go to the company. You use Medstem Powered, where we're located. We're headquartered in Boston, and then what your specific start and end dates were. And then here is a sample description on what you can put in your LinkedIn. Again, this is a sample, so feel free to tailor it to your own experiences and what you've actually learned through the program. This is also a great place that you can upload specific photos and certificates that you've received. Again, if you, for instance, received a debate certificate, you can put it here. If you go on to earn a research symposium certificate, this will be a great place to put it. And you can also put the shadowing certificate that you will receive here as well. Again, yeah, that's what I just talked about. So you can add your program certificate, participation awards, all of that. I also wanted to note that if you attend the research symposium and you do not win an award, we will still provide you a participation award. So you will get that. That will be something that you will provide. So again, you can link anything really here, part of your media. You can also, if you do the research symposium and you want to add the actual project that you did as part of the LinkedIn post, feel free to do that as well. I've seen some great LinkedIn posts from past cohort members that's really helped them get into some great opportunities. So again, here this is kind of like how you can do it. You can add, again, you can put specific license certification. We didn't receive any certifications, but if you, for instance, volunteered for M.D.s Empowered, so if you provide some feedback or you did some note taking or guest speaker forms, this will be where you can put those volunteer hours. We will start processing volunteer hours mid to late next week. So for all those that have submitted volunteer hours, we've received your emails and we will begin processing that. And you do have until next Friday to submit all of those notes that you took in or guest speaker thank you forms for volunteer hours. So yeah, those will be open. Again, if you need help navigating any of those links, because I know there's a bunch of links and it can be very confusing, we'll send it out. We will send them all on Slack. But yeah, that's kind of just like an overview for now. And yeah, you can also add some skills and endorsements such as leadership, public speaking, STEM, really anything you can add. And then you can ask one of our team members to endorse you if you want. And you can also, again, any of your accomplishments that you received, you can add as part of your LinkedIn as well. And you can also post a personal post on LinkedIn, and you can tag us at M.D.s Empowered so we can boost your post. So we've had a lot of students in the past that have, after they received their certificate, they posted on LinkedIn, and we were able to kind of promote that and, use that as a way to enhance their LinkedIn profile by featuring it on our LinkedIn page. So yeah, that's a great way to post about your summer experience. And now we'll talk about college apps, jobs, and resume, kind of how to use your program experience to enhance that. So on your college app or your resume, you can add this under an extracurricular award. You can upload your certificate in the Common App as well if you're applying to college, and you can, again, showcase this on your resume. Again, virtual shadowing also increases your chances of receiving in-person shadowing opportunities. I've heard a lot of students that have taken this shadowing opportunity and reached out to a bunch of doctors and told them they've already shadowed and they're very interested, and that has helped boost their chances of receiving shadowing opportunities. I have a shadowing template. I don't know if we shared it as part of this post that the part of the documents that Davina shared. However, if you're looking for a shadowing kind of template, how to write a shadowing template, I have an example. So feel free to reach out to me on Slack, and I will get back to you on how that can look like. And then if you need us to write a letter of rec, we also do write letter of recs. However, we do caution you, like if you're applying to college, we definitely want you to utilize, for example, your professors or your teachers first before you ask us. Since there's around 500 students in the program, 500 to 600 students in the program, it's really hard to write a really personalized letter. However, if you need a letter of recommendation for like a job interview or like a volunteer position, feel free to just email us and we can write that for you. Again, info@M.D.s Empowered is a great way to connect with us if you have any other questions and everything. That's kind of the main program line after the program has concluded. Our Slack is also open and available. So if you ever have questions, we will be more consistent on posting medical opportunities there, as well as we'll keep up to date with the community bonding and advice column channels as well. So yeah, that's a great way to kind of gain more STEM community is a Slack. However, if you want like a volunteer letter of recommendation, anything else you want us to sign off on, we've had students, I believe, use volunteer hours for like National Honor Society hours. So just send that to us and we can take care of that as well. Just send it to the info@mdsempowered.org email. And then finally, from us to you, thank you. This program would not be possible without everyone joining in and being active, participating. This has been one of my most favorite years because there's been so many people that have asked such great questions that have been so interactive on Slack and as well as during the live session. So again, this program would not be possible without you, and we thank you for participating and spending part of your summer with us here. I also wanted to shout out Davina's grandma. Davina's grandma always watches our programming live. She is an inspiration and she loves our programming. So I want to give a special shout out to her. She's always been watching M.D.s Empowered's biggest fan. So again, thank you, Davina, and thank you, Davina's grandma, for, again, always supporting us and providing this opportunity. And again, this program would not be possible without you. We are incredibly grateful that you've spent part of your summer with us, and we really hope you've enjoyed your experience here and you've learned something new, met a friend or two, and felt ready to tackle the world of medicine and STEM. And we truly, again, this program would not be possible without you, and we can't wait to see how you're going to change the world of medicine and STEM. I'll stick around for some questions. I know I see a lot of chat, but I want to make sure we ended on time and that I had time to stick around for some questions. But I'll go ahead and release the last poll for today. Give me a minute, and I'll address all questions in just a few seconds. But again, After the poll has finished, feel free to hop off. If you have no questions, please connect with us on LinkedIn, on Slack. We want to hear from you. We don't want this to be the last time we see you. Feel free to apply to our applications, research symposiums, executive internships. We really want to be part of your STEM career. So last poll, I'm releasing in just a few seconds. Okay, I released the poll. It is launching in just a second. Let me check. Oh, I hadn't ended that poll. Okay, I can launch this poll now, I believe. Okay, I have launched the last poll.
Sorry to interrupt, but we still haven't done the group photo.
Oh my God, we haven't done the group photo. I am so sorry. Yes, please, thank you for reminding me. Let's do that now. I don't think Davina is here. If it's okay, yeah, we'll do the group photo now. So give me just a second. I'm gonna unshare my screen. And yes, please stick around for a group photo. The poll is launched, but let's take the photo now. So if everyone can turn on their cameras, those that are comfortable, and we'll go ahead and take our group photo. Again, thank you so much for reminding me. So yeah, feel free to stick around, and if you're interested in getting in our group photo, and turn your cameras on, and we'll go ahead and take our photo in just a few seconds. Okay, I'll wait about a minute, and then we'll take our group photo. So those that are interested in turning and being part of our cohort picture, I'll tell y'all when to smile in just a few seconds. I will need about 3 seconds to take the photo, since there's a lot of you on my screen. Okay, I'll give everyone about a minute more to turn their cameras on. As these people are still turning on their cameras, so I'll give it a minute. Okay, I'll go ahead and take the photo in about 3 seconds. So I want everyone to hold their smile for about a few seconds so I can make sure that we get the full photo. So I'll go ahead and take the photo now. Okay, keep smiling. In 1 second. All right, okay then. If you do not have any more questions, feel free to log off, and we will see you hopefully very soon as part of another one of our initiatives. But I'll stick around to answer questions, and thank you for reminding me to take the group photo. I totally forgot. So thank you so much. So I'll go ahead and answer some questions from the chat, and then I'll take hands in a second. So again, make sure you answer the poll, and if you haven't seen the poll, just message work on Slack. So yeah, thank you all again. We truly appreciate you all spending your time with us this summer. And feel free to reach out if you ever have any questions. I have a ton of DMs I have to get through myself. So if you've reached out and I haven't answered, I am gonna get back to you this weekend. I just have a ton of messages and emails to get through. So yeah, but feel free to reach out anytime for anything. So yeah, I'll go ahead and take Jenna. Is your hands up?
Okay, hello. Thank you for the special content that was in the summer program. I really like it and I appreciate it. So I was just asking about the recommendation letters. I was just asking about them. do I need to take the internship for it or?
No, so we do offer again, if you're interested in getting a recommendation letter from participating in this program, and for instance, if it's for a volunteer opportunity or a job opportunity, yeah, feel free to reach us to us via email or reach out to me or Davina on Slack, and we can process your request. We do ask that we probably will process the recommendation letters towards the middle or end of August, because we do have to make sure all the certificates get on time. Certificates will be available, emailed to you in around 3 weeks-ish. We have to make sure that we'll release an eligibility sheet sooner, but we do process those, and they take a little bit of time to get through, since we have to go through make sure all the eligibility requirements were met. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Michael.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I have a question. Who do I ask like for permission to collaborate for the research symposium with people I know outside of school, outside of the program? I mean,
outside of the program, yes. So one of the ways that you can also if you want to do the research symposium with someone that's not part of the M.D.s powered, who's not participating in the M.D.s powered program, on the research symposium registration form, we'll have question that you can just acknowledge that. So you don't really have to get permission. You just have to, when you're filling out the form, you just have to let us know that if any of your group members did not participate in the summer program. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Hannah.
Hi.
Hi, how can I help?
So I wanted to ask about the homework form. I'm not sure which sessions did I attend for the international and which sessions did I attend for the national.
So for instance, the national sessions are like in the PM. So if you don't remember exactly, so you don't remember like all the sessions you've attended, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, so I attended all of the international sessions. That's what I already applied for, except this one and another one.
Okay, no worries. If you let us know in that form which sessions there's a question for each session on which session that you attended. Just let us know on that Slack on that. And if you don't remember exactly, that's also okay. We'll cross-reference. And you can also send us a message on Slack, just let us know. So when we're looking at your eligibility, we'll have that in mind. But if you've attended the sessions and you let us know which sessions you attended, you'll be good. I promise. We make sure that we check all our records to ensure that you've attended the sessions and ensure that we don't miss you.
I've also filled out the accommodation form.
Yes, perfect. You're all set. You're all set.
Okay, so do I have to fill out the accommodation form for this session, or it's fine?
Not necessarily. So like on the homework form, we'll have a question, which program